Salve a tutti. How's it going, guys? Welcome back. I hope you enjoyed the couple of days break, but we're back with lesson number 2. And in the last lesson we went over some phonics and the alphabet, and today we're just going to continue with that. And then at the end we're going to get into some introductions. I know I did say, I think, in the last episode that I'd be talking about accents, but I decided that introductions and greetings are probably more important. So that's what we're going to be doing. Anyway, in the last lesson, we talked about these 3 letters, chi, ji, and aka. And basically, how they behave somewhat differently from all the others. And today, basically, we're just going to be combining them with some other letters and seeing what kind of sounds come out of that. Because those also behave differently than all the others. Except for this one. Aka. Aka doesn't combine with anything. But anyway, we're going to be focusing mainly on chi and ji for this part of the lesson. So, starting with chi. We established already that it can have a sound like k, or it can have a sound like ch. Now, what would happen, say, though, if I were to add esse in here? Well, for this one, it's pretty simple. You just add, it makes it sound like sk. So anytime where chi makes a k sound, when you add an s, it becomes sk, like in the word scarpa, spelled like this. So once again, when the succeeding vowel is a, o, or u, or a consonant. For this one's a bit more complicated. Basically, if we add esse in here, it's a sound like sh. That's how it's formulated in Italian. That doesn't exist. So to make this sound sh, you just put esse in front of chi when the chi makes ch. For example, like in the word, it sounds very similar to this, sciarpa. Once again, chi makes ch here because we have the e, and we stick esse in front, and so now we have shi. And this combines with the rest of the word to make sciarpa. So once again, before e or e, we have the sh sound when you have this construction. Next construction we're going to be working on is with G. And it looks somewhat like this. This one is a lot simpler. It only has one sound. In fact, the last 2 only have one sound, fortunately. So we don't have to worry about that. But basically, this sound is like this construction in English, like nye. Most notably, lasagna. I'm sure you've all heard of that. Also, words like sogni. So once again, we see the vowels are from, I guess, what we could classify as different classes of vowels, but this sound still is the same. So this is always nye. Lasagna, sogni, like that. The last one that we're going to focus on today is also with G, and this one is a bit hard to pronounce, I'm not going to lie. L-E. So basically, the best way I think you can think of this is like L-Y-I in English. So it's like yi. Let's see some examples. Basically like Cagliari, which is a city in Italy, like yeah. So it's kind of like l, but it's with the side of the tongue instead of the front. It's a bit difficult to pronounce. It takes practice of saying it over and over again, but you just gotta hear it and try and say it. That's basically the only way to really perfect it. Also, words like aglio. That's basically it. So it's yeah. It's like It's with the sides of the tongue. That's it. So that pretty much wraps up the phonics in these lessons. I mean, there's not a whole lot else to do. There are accents, but those are not so important, and they're pretty easy as well. So I think I'll have another lesson that's kind of just dedicated to those. It'll be a quick one. Next thing we're gonna do is go over some greetings and some intros, because those in my opinion are more important. Just basic conversational skills. So first of all, first thing that you say when you meet someone new is buongiorno, spelled like this. And this is only used formally. So for example, if you're talking to like a superior at work, or a complete stranger also, theoretically you have no idea, they could be the king of wherever, so you always talk formally to strangers. And not family though. You wouldn't speak formally with your parents or whatever. So buongiorno is always formal. There are two other ways of saying like hello, and those are ciao, which I'm sure a lot of you have heard. This is informal, by the way. Informal. As is salve, which you probably noticed. I said at the beginning of the lessons, both of them. Salve and ciao mean the same thing. Buongiorno is formal, these two are informal. So, ways to say goodbye. Once again, like a lot of greetings and stuff, it's separated by formality. So, speaking formally, you'd say this. Arrivederci. And, yeah, this is formal. That's basically it. I mean, the same rules apply as buongiorno. And then, also, you have ciao, which does mean both hello and goodbye. It's just both. And both times is informal. So, now that you have that down, past hello and goodbye. Next thing you ask someone who you're meeting for the first time is probably like what their name is. So going over that once again, we have rules of formality. So if you're speaking formally to someone, you would put it like this. Come si chiama. Come si chiama. That's formal. You also have informally, which is very similar. Come ti chiami. And, formality rules don't change, basically. So anytime you would use, buongiorno or arrivederci, you use come si chiama. And then anytime you use any of the other greetings, you use come ti chiami. And then, typically, you'd want a response to this. So, when responding to this question, you would say, mi chiamo. Whatever your name is. Notice how the verbs and the pronouns all change. That's for later, why that happens, but, yeah, this is basically asking your name and responding and saying that your name. By the way, this has no formality rules because you're talking about yourself. Next is, after you would ask their name and give them your name, you probably want to know how they're doing. So, how would you say that? There are a couple of ways. Probably above all, you have come sta. And this, once again, is formal, only. You also have, for informal, come stai. Once again, very similar. Once again, the verbs have changed. This is informal. And the way to respond to this question, once again, no formality rules, because you're talking about yourself, is just sto. And then you have a couple options. You know, you're doing well, you're doing not so well, you're doing so-so. So if you're doing well, you say sto bene. That's probably the only one you're going to be using, since nobody says they're not doing well. But also, sto male, if you're not doing well. Or if you're doing so-so, is così, così. So-so. That's basically it, as far as, you know, how you're doing. And then, I mean, really the last thing, probably the last thing you'd say, meeting a new person, before saying goodbye to them, would be this. Piacere. Like, nice to meet you, or pleasure to meet you, or whatever. That's basically it. And there's no formality with this. So that wraps up the lesson. As I said, I was gonna do accents, but I decided to replace it with this because I felt this is more important anyway. I hope you enjoyed the content. Please comment, leave your thoughts and opinions, and hopefully we'll see you in the next lesson. Ciao ragazzi.